Setting goals is one thing. So I always say this, I say ideas are shit. They're literally shit. So if we don't take action on something, we can sit around, we talk about it all we want. If we don't take action, all that thought that we just put into everything, all that time that we just put into sitting around developing our goals, it's gonna go to waste. So what do? We have to have a plan of action once we have our goals. So you set these goals, coming up, we've got our New Year's resolution that everybody's gonna be making. What happens after you make that? So here's what I do. I typically set my goal date. So goals are just dreams with a deadline. So you set your deadline to meet this goal. And I treat it like it's a homework assignment. And I go back to the time when I was in school, and if you don't turn in your homework assignment, what happens? Yeah, you get in trouble. You get an F. Your teacher will scold you. Your parents will ground you. So I treat it like that. I use that mentality. I say, this is the time period that I have to have this done by. And sometimes I put some skin in the game too. I'll invest some money. I'll say I'm gonna go on a trip, or I'm going to, some of my clients actually, they'll sign up for fitness competitions. Now they're invested, they've expended money. They've got skin in the game for this. So that's the deadline. You set the deadline and you set your goal. And now it needs to be a tangible goal, something that you can measure. If you can measure it, you can manage it. And so now that you've got this tangible goal set for whatever time it is, I usually like to do 6 months or a year. And let's say we set our goal for December 31st, 2023. We're a year in the future. We know where we have to be at that point. And we're gonna get kind of specific. So we're gonna start writing down the numbers that we need, the things that we need to attain by that point. And we don't wanna make them too vague. We wanna make them pretty specific so that we can measure it. And then at that point, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go 6 months back. So if we're at a year mark, we're gonna cut that in half. We're gonna go 6 months back. And we're gonna look at that and say, okay, for all of these bullet points that I just wrote down right then and there, where do I wanna be? If I'm at the halfway point, I'm at 6 months, where do I have to realistically be to hit my goal at the end of the year? It may not just be half, it may be a little less, it may be a little more, depending on the momentum that you have, but pick those numbers. Pick those goals and set them for the 6 month mark. Then let's chop that in half again. Let's go to 3 months. We're gonna do the same thing. And every time we back this up, we're gonna expand our task list just a little bit. We're gonna get a little more granular, a little more detailed. And then after the 3 month, we're gonna go to a 1 month. And the 1 month, we're gonna cut that in half, we're gonna go 2 weeks. At the 2 week mark, we're gonna cut that in half, 1 week, and we're gonna go all the way down day by day by day until you get to today. And today, what is that one step you're going to take to get you closer to your goal? What is that one massive action step that you are going to take? You don't have to go do 10,000 things today. But anytime I set goals or I go through the process of goal setting, I always make sure that I take one giant step towards my goal. It could be going out, it could be getting a CRM, signing up for some sort of task list software that lets you organize everything. If you wanted a car at the end of the year, you could go to the dealer's website. Go look through the kind of cars that you want. Go look through the kind of cars that you want. Pick out the color, pick out the leather seats. Know the price of the car that you want to get. Now you've done something, you've taken action. Set up an appointment to go look at that car. If it has to do with business, take one step towards your business. Make a couple of inquiries. But when you start writing those task lists for this week, get very detailed. Create a task list. That way, every day you have things that you need to do. You have action items that you have to do in order to get to your goal. And remember, one of the 6 human needs is growth and progress. And every time you check one of those boxes off on those action items that you just did, you are taking one step towards growth and progress in your life. And if you leave today with one thing on your mind, I want you to remember, growth and progress equal happiness. Growth and progress equal happiness. Go make your list.